make it on or not. He might not. He had to go do something real quick, and so I don't know if he's gonna be on or not. But last time we were on, we were reading from the book of Job, which is a guy who lost everything but never lost his faith in God. So a little bit different setup. So I can actually see. I haven't looked over my camera like this all the time. Um, so last time we were reading in Job chapter 3. It was called the part where Job laments his infancy. Well, first he lamented his birth. He bewailed his birth, and then he lamented his infancy, where he says, "Why did I not come? Why did I not from the womb? Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me?" He was very sad about his birth and his life, and he's kind of wishing that he was never born, basically. So in this next section on chapter 3, verse 20, he's talking about his manhood being lamented. Wherefore is light given to him who is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God has hedged in? For my sighing comes before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. This is after Job has lost um, all his animals, all his children got killed in a tornado. He's pretty much lost everything, except he's still got his wife and he's got his life. So he's choosing not to curse God. He's choosing not to blame God. He's just going on. His friends even come to, his three friends come to try to make him feel better, I guess. And they sit with him for 7 days and 7 nights. And none spoke a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was too great. If you've ever been around someone who's lost somebody in their life, it's like there's nothing you can say to make them feel better. There's nothing you could do or say or anything to make them feel better. Just being with them and just being there for him and not even saying a word. That's what his friends did with him. So in chapter 4, oh yeah, I forgot 26. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Hey Andrew, I love you too, man. Chapter 4, Eliphaz rebukes Job. Innocent people aren't punished, he says. And Eliphaz the Temanite. Okay, so what's going on is that his friends are like, you must have done something. Hi, Donnie VR, how you doing? Good to see you, Andrew. His friends are like, you must have done something wrong in your life. You must have done some sin. You must have done some horrible thing. And that's why you're being punished. That's why God is punishing you or whatever. And he's like, I can't think of a single thing that I've done that's bad. I've tried to be really good. I've tried to do all things God told me to do. And he just doesn't understand. He keeps telling his friends, like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm innocent. And now I feel like I'm just getting all the worst, all these horrible things are happening to me. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, if we essay to commune with you, will you be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, you have instructed many, and you have strengthened the weak hands. Your words have upholden him who is falling, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. But now it has come upon you, and you faint. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not this your fear, your confidence, your hope, and your uprightness of your ways? Remember, I pray you, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they who plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. The note says, in essence, Eliphaz is referring to Job as an old lion who is about done in. In fact, Job was 70 years old at the time and will live to be 210. So whatever now seems to be the case is not the case. In fact, every believer should take a lesson from this. That's right, Andrew. God is king. Eliphaz concludes that God is just in punishing Job. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a little thereof. When thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face, the hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before my eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his Maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundations is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Does not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom. So the note says, as we shall see at the end of this book, the direction of all of Job's friends is totally wrong. While they may say some right things, they're right things based to come from human wisdom and not from a true knowledge of God. So, chapter 5. Job is concluded by Eliphaz to be wicked. Call now if there be any who will answer you. And to which of the saints will you turn? For wrath kills the foolish man, and envy kills the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate, neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eats up, and takes it even out of the thorns, and the robber swallows up their substance. Although affliction comes not forth of the dust, neither does trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly upward. Eliphaz claims that Job must confess his sins. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause. The note says, in other words, Job should confess to God what he really is, who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who gives rain upon the earth and sends waters upon the fields, to set up on high those who be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappoints the devices of the crafty, that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He takes the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saves the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor has hope, and iniquity stops her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Therefore despise not you the chastening of the Almighty. For he makes sore and binds up, he wounds, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver you in 6 troubles. Yes, in 7 there shall no evil touch you. In famine he shall redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shall you be afraid of destruction when it comes. At destruction and famine you shall laugh, neither shall you be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for you shall be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tabernacle shall be in peace, and you shall visit your habitation, and shall not sin. You shall know also that your seed shall be great, and your offspring as the grass of the earth. You shall come to your grave in a full age, like as the shock of corn comes in his season. Lo, this, we have searched it, so it is. Hear it and know it for your good. The note says, Eliphaz claims that his word is law and gospel. The truth is, it is anything but. In chapter 6, this will be the last part I'm going to read here. Let's see how long chapter 6 is. Okay, I'll finish chapter 6, and then I'm going to read a prayer, and I'll call it a night. It's kind of a short one tonight. It's getting late where I am, so. Okay, chapter 6, Job's reply to Eliphaz. But Job answered and said, Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed, and my calamity laid in the balances together. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, the poison whereof drinks up my spirit. The terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Does the one brave when he has grass, or lows the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt, or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The things that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. Even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I yet have comfort. Yes, I would harden myself in sorrow. Let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should hope? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass? Is it not my help in me, and is wisdom driven quite from me? Job reproves his friends. To him who is afflicted, pity should be shown from his friend, but he forsakes the fear of the Almighty. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of the way are turned aside, they go to nothing and perish. The troops of Tema looked, the companies of Sheba waited for them. They were confounded because they had hoped. They came thither and were ashamed. For now you are nothing. You see my casting down and are afraid. Job maintains his independence. Did I say, bring unto me, or give a reward for me of your substance, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the mighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forcible are right words, but what does your arguing reprove? Do you imagine to reprove words in the speeches of one who is desperate, which are as wind? Yes, you overwhelm the fatherless, and you dig a pit for your friend. Now therefore be content, look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. Return, I pray you, let it not be iniquity. Yes, return again, my righteousness is in it. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern perverse things? The note says, Job will ultimately find that there is iniquity in his tongue, as there is with all. However, it has nothing to do with these friends and what they have said. So his friends are basically telling him that he must have sinned. He must have done something. There's something in your life that you're not telling us about. There's something you must have done to bring all this upon you. And Job's like, I can't think of a single thing that I've done. I've done nothing but what I was told by God to do. I don't know. They're just kind of like blaming him. Like, it must be something you did. There must be something, Job. So it's going to be kind of a short one tonight. We didn't get to have church tonight. Our church was, we didn't have any, the power was out. We had a tornado in our area yesterday. So the power's been out at different places. And tonight, our church, we had church, but we didn't have any power. So we did everything by candlelight. So by about 7 o'clock, we were done. And I got home a little early. I just wanted to do a quick little live just to get a little farther in Job. And I was going to wait on my brother Bill, but he's doing something right now and he's not going to, I don't think he's going to make it in time. So I'm just going to read this prayer for serenity. I got to read this in group tonight. It's really a good prayer. I don't know if you guys know it. I've almost got it memorized, but not quite. So it's called the Serenity Prayer. So this is how it goes. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. Thanks for being here, Donnie, Andrew. Appreciate you guys. Try to do another one tomorrow. Might just start doing these little short ones. I mean, this is about 15 minutes. I got to get to bed. I got to get my son to bed. So Working on the book of Job. We're getting through it here. I'm not sure how long the book of Job is. Oh, it's pretty long. Later we'll get into later in the book of Job. It talks about like Leviathan and all these different things where God is speaking to him and he's telling him of all the things that he made. Did I not make this? Did I not do this? So it's really interesting. Job speaks to the Lord, and then the Lord, I think, speaks later with him. So, anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Hey, Brody, glad you're here. Sorry, it's kind of a short one tonight, but it's getting late where I'm at, so I'll go ahead and call it a night. We're in the book of Job. If you guys want to learn a little bit about Job, he had some terrible things happen in his life. Basically, Satan talked to God, and God, gave him the permission to. God gave him permission basically to let things happen to Job, but he couldn't kill him. There were certain rules that were applied, but basically Satan said to God, "I bet if you take away all these things from him, that he'll curse your name." And Job didn't curse God throughout this whole thing, as far as I know. He didn't. I think that's the whole story. That's the basic story. Is that even though things happened in his life that were awful, like he lost all his children, he lost everything he had except for his wife, and even his wife was telling him to curse God and die, but he just wouldn't do it. He refused to blame God for what happened. So it's a good lesson in there. Even when you're going through hard times, don't blame God for things that happen. It's not God's fault. And then when Job's friends came to him to comfort him, they're like, "There must have been something you did. There must have been some kind of sin that you committed or something that happened in your life that you're not telling us about. So, but we'll get more into it. Maybe we'll do another one tomorrow. I'm going to try to get Bill on tomorrow and he can read the Bible with me. So, thanks for being here, guys. I love you guys. God bless you. Hope you have a good night. See you on the next one.